Peace, peace, peace. This your brother Monroe Jr. I'll be offering my commentary right after this quick clip. Peace.
Y'all is trash. Listen, young independent artists, do not sign with 300 ENT. There's the worst label ever. Let me know the number so I can pay y'all this money back, man. Lame ass shit.
Peace, peace, peace. This your brother Monroe Jr. So y'all just saw the video of Rich the Kid lit over his deal with the label he's with, and just saying basically how he don't want to be with him no more. I'm about to play a video of Master P, one of Jay-Z producers, and a few other people just talking about the 360 deal and how it's really best today to go independent. Rich the Kid could make, he already has a following in the audience, he could make much more money independent. And you know, a lot of times they get our artists with them advances. You know, they give them that money up front, and then the artists get to spending, and they think they be on one, but then after, you know, they drop the album, and they see the sales, and they start seeing the checks, then like, oh man, what's going on, you know? So, because a lot of times we don't read the fine print, you know. So, I'm about to go ahead and roll the clip. This your brother Monroe Jr. I'm signing off. Peace.
The corporate system doesn't owe me anything. I'm very aware and I understand exactly the situation when I walk into it. I don't have love for that corporation don't have love for me. This is a business arrangement. And I think too many times when we're dealing with our art, we put our love into it and expect that person is going to love you back. That person is never going to love you. If we take, for instance, the letter that Nas wrote today, some people may not know. What he said was to L.A. Reid, Steve Bartles, people that I know well. He basically said, why are you not putting out my album? Stop trying to be an artist. Stop trying to tell me what to do. Okay? The problem is that they told Nas that album won't count against him owing Def Jam albums. When you sign with a label, you don't sign for one album. You sign for 7 albums, right? So the album that he wants to put out, which is called Lost Tapes, wouldn't count against those 7 albums. So he don't want to put it out. Basically, they're pimping you even further. Okay? Just to give you some background.
It's kind of like on some weirdness right now, you know, with the 360. I mean, a real nigga would look at it in two ways. One, you would say, oh, I ain't never giving up all of that percentage of me. Mm-hmm. But then you got another real nigga that would say, because that real nigga got to go out and hit these streets and do these shows and do this promo and really be hands-on, like an independent mind. You know what I'm saying? Master P would never do 360. Baby would never do 360. But they the type of people that run the streets. If you, the other kind of real nigga who understand that I need a machine behind me to push me, then maybe a 360 ain't all that bad, because that only means that the label has more have more to gain from your success, which probably means that they gonna probably push you more than them that's running the streets, who gotta push themselves, because if you hit, it's more for me.
360 deals, I mean, the concept of 360 is it's circular, it's encompassing. The evolution of the 360 deal came about within the past 5 years, I would say. And it came about as a direct result of the fact that record companies were losing money. They've been losing money for the last 5 to 10 years. Single, sometimes double-digit declines in sales and revenue every single year. So as a result of that, the record companies, in order to survive, began to look at how can we, one, cut expenses, so a lot of staff layoffs, a lot of consolidation, a lot of mergers, a lot of roster cuts with their artists, slashing of budgets for recording, slashing of promotional and marketing budgets that they would have normally spent on lavish parties or radio promotion. So that's one way to boost the bottom line. You cut expenses. The other way, obviously, is you increase income. They weren't increasing income by the increase of sales, because sales of the physical CDs were declining as sales on the internet were exploding, and they hadn't yet captured the opportunities for monetizing internet sales. So they started looking to the artist.
What we're dealing with now is the emergence of independence, right? And the emergence of the internet. So people are finally waking up to these things that I've been saying for, I say about 20 years, that you don't need a record label at all whatsoever. I work with them. I know I don't need it. Doesn't owe me anything. What I owe my people is to warn them about the corporation. You understand what I'm saying? From a music level and from so many different levels. That's a great segue into corporations, period, because so many times we, like you said, mystify our enemy and deal with this company. What does that tell you? Don't deal with the company, period. Start your own company. This is the perfect time for musical independence. The perfect time. This brother said a great statement that you can make a living selling 5,000 units. If I make a CD and I sell 5,000 units, that's $50,000 in my pocket. That's a salary.
You see a lot of artists are just going independent. They're shying away from record labels.
You really don't need a label, to be honest with you. We even told Meek Mill this a couple years ago. Like, all you need is your talent and make good records. With the power of social media and the internet, you can do that. And so a lot of artists don't get it until they actually get a deal. And a lot of these deals ain't what we think they are.
Right.
You know, because if you get tied into a deal now you got to go ask a company when you need to move. I turned down $1 million with Jimmy Iovine. That was my first deal, and I only had $500 in my pocket. So you got to be willing to make that sacrifice.
Bet on yourself.
Yeah, and I end up saying, if this guy offered me $1 million, how much am I really worth? Don't do nothing when you're desperate, because it's not going to end up right. So I took my $500, went back home, and started selling my CDs out the trunk of my car.
Came back and got that bag.
Yeah, came back and got that bag because I got 85%. I got a distribution deal. I didn't get a record deal. So I didn't have no boss. I made more money than a record company that put me out. They only got 15%. So I made more money than NWA, Ice Cube, everybody they had on the label. Jay-Z, whoever they had on Priority Records at the time, I probably made more than them in a month.
You understand what I'm saying? And I own my masters. The problem is that you signed the contract. When you get into the situation in the first place, you asked to become a slave. You asked for it. You went and chased down whoever you could chase down that was a representative of that label and asked them, please make me a slave. Do you understand what that is? So, okay, now as a progressive person, somebody that has a mind that sits in these meetings and hears nonsense all day, and when I'm sitting in front of L.A. Reid and I raise my hand and I'm like, that's nonsense, they tell me that that's going to sell. That's the whole response. The company doesn't care, righteous, unrighteous, they care about money. Period, point blank. If you look back at hip-hop in 1989, Righteous was selling, so they was down with Righteous. You understand? Now nonsense is selling, so they down with nonsense. It's about green and about power and control, and they really, really, really see the end coming. The end is coming. 10 years from now, these record labels will not be here in the capacity that they are now, because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't. If I'm an artist, I would not sign to a major record label at this point, because I do all the work. I go find the artist, I make the beat, he writes the rhyme, I record everything, I mix it, then I have to hand it in and I don't own it. And I make 10 cents off of it. That doesn't make sense. Makes no sense whatsoever. So if I can sell 5,000 or 10,000 on my own, I would rather do that. But we as a people, the minister said it best, like, you so impressed with the shiny Cadillac, and we're going to use the same words that he used, but you can replace that with anything. You're so impressed with this shininess that you don't see the value of being on your own. The only thing they do for you is give you a loan. That's all it is. It's a bank. When you walk in there, they give you however much, $1 million, right? You hear somebody say, oh, I signed for $1 million. They don't got $1 million in their pocket. That $1 million is used to distribute your CD.
Market, promote, publicize.
Right. A whole bunch of nonsense that's not necessary anymore. So the understanding has to come that we don't need to sign up to be slaves, and then you won't deal with that situation. So to me, the corporate structure of music, they don't owe me anything, because that's not my parent. You understand what I'm saying? I mix a record, they pay me. That's all I expect. I don't expect them to be progressive for me. I expect me to be progressive for me. You understand what I'm saying? And the problem comes is that there are progressive artists out there that put out great music.